Hi, this is Annette at Wild Heart Ranch. Today we're going to talk about what to do when you find a baby bird. It's just about baby bird season for us in Oklahoma, but there are rehabbers all over the world right now that are feeding baby birds. The thing about baby birds, and the reason why we want to avoid them coming in, number one is because mama bird is such a better mother bird than people are. And we do our best and we do very well with birds, but we would always rather keep them with mom. The other thing is they're very labor intensive. Baby birds eat every hour on the hour on the hour during daylight time when they're nestlings. And, you know, when you have 100, 150 babies in, some of our volunteers, that's all they do is come in and feed birds. So any that we can avoid coming in for wildlife rehabilitation care is excellent. That's time back in the pockets of the crew and more time for other animals that need them. Now, a lot of times people will call, they found a baby bird, and they've located the nest, and they can't reach the nest. They can't get to it. Of course, first thing we want to try to do is put it back in the nest, but if that's impossible, the other thing you can do is fashion a nest in lower branches. Now, you want to look at the original nest and see how it's in the sunlight. Is it completely exposed? Is it exposed just in the morning or the evening? Or is it fully shaded? Different species of birds require different amounts of sunlight, and mama bird knows this. So the position of her nest, shade or sun, is important. So you want to look at her nest and determine where you want to put it. Now, she will, if it's nice out, and mom can't be on both nests at the same time, obviously, and the weather's warm enough, we're going to ask callers to fashion a nest that will work and raise the baby. Now, everybody's got these laying around, butter dishes, what have you. These make a good surrogate nest for a baby bird. But the one thing you don't want to do is put baby in here and it rains and baby goes swimming and drowns. You want to cut drain holes in the bottom. Just take a knife or scissors and just knock some holes in it. Nothing big enough for baby's leg to go through and get stuck, but drain your nest. Okay, now we've got drain holes in there, and now we can fashion our nest. Now, nesting material that's appropriate. Paper towels will work if that's all you have or all you want to contribute. It's just that if they get wet, they tend to fall apart, and they can also stick to the baby. So using something like fleece, cut up a sweatshirt, t-shirt, not a lot of material in here because when it does get wet, you want it to be able to dry out. So a thin piece of, it's just a little piece of fleece in the bottom of the nest will work great. Now, I looked for a surrogate bird for this, and the only stuffed bird we have is this one. Now, he looks a little funny in here. He didn't really work, so we didn't use him. What we did is I fashioned, here's our little bird. His name's Howard. Howard can then go in his little nest, and if it's a really tiny little bird, you want to kind of give him some, you know, cushion around him. You don't want this little tiny bird in this big nest where he lays flat. You want him to be able to kind of get up, sit up, put his head up. Now, if the baby has no feathers at all, this is going to be kind of treacherous because he has, you know, no protection against the elements at night. So anyway, we're going to pretend Howard's got fuzz. He's at least down covered. He does have one feather come in. So anyway, Howard's in our nest, and we're looking for a place in the tree that's got a branch that is up and down, that's in about the same amount of sunlight as mom. And that's when you take, well, we should probably remove Howard while we do this. We don't want him to get stabbed. We're trying to save him. Cut a couple of holes in the corner of your dish or the edge of your butter dish if it's round. And take a zip tie. If you live in the country, you have zip ties, baling wire, and duct tape on hand at all times. Hang on. Nettie gets upset because she's not out here on camera, and the problem is she likes to be on the table. Okay, now you got a zip tie in the corner, and put that around a branch, and that is going to be stable for you. You don't want to cover up the tub with anything. Just, you know, make sure that we've got some kind of cover above for rain or whatnot. But this is a good surrogate nest. This will work as a supplemental nest for mom. Now, if you don't have a branch that goes up and down, you need to hang the nest. This is one way to do it. This is with a plastic hanger and duct tape. If you're going to use duct tape on anything, you want to make sure there are no adhesive surfaces exposed to where the baby or mom can stick a feather to it, because then you got a whole nother problem. But this can hang on a branch just like that. The wind will blow, it'll rock a little bit. See how it's rocking? That prevents baby from dumping out. So that can go in. And you can also, you can zip tie the hanger in place so it doesn't move or rock. So this is another way. Another way to do it is just with like baling wire or some kind of wire. You can wire it, but a lot of people just use your hanging planter baskets. They're already made to drain, but you're bedding down in the bottom and just hanging in the tree. Those work great. So, but this is the way you can fashion it. Now, when you do that, you want to make sure mom and dad are present. They're going to feed the baby. And that, what are you trying to tell me, Greg?
Battery's about to die.
Battery's about to die. So you want to make sure you have parents. You don't want to hang the baby in a tree, and you know the whole problem is orphans. But as always, if you feel that the situation is not safe for the animal, contact a local wildlife rehabilitator. I'm sure they'll be glad to help you. And thanks for supporting our local wildlife, and thanks for following.